Nearly 7 and over required from the start. That's a good short-arm pull from Cook. It's one of his favourite strokes, and that'll be first boundary of the innings.
We saw a lot of this on Thursday evening at Chelmsford. That's not that short from Claydon, but you can tell by Cook's grip, he can't wait for the ball to be pitched short of a length. He loves smashing it away through straight mid-wicket.
Got 2 more here. At least 2.
Alistair Cook into double figures. Just that one boundary, though, through the mid-wicket area.
Five overs gone, 17 for 1. Durham county champions in 2008, and favourites to be county champions in 2009 as well. Now that might have hurt young Gidman, because Napier's drilled it straight back at him. Grin and bear it, I think. He's trying to get out of the way. Shot has prompted second slip to go to extra cover, short extra cover. 2 catching fielders, remember, in the first 15 overs of fielding restrictions.
Napier looking for another big shot. Just a thick inside edge, really. Right down the bottom of the bat, just inspecting to see if there was any damage to the willow.
Just have a look at this, the pace that he hits this ball straight back at the bowler. Technically a chance, but nothing the bowler could do other than try and evade the ball. Paul with the fumble. He was backed up though by Borthwick.
Too tight now, that is.
Well, the run rate required is going up and up here, over 7.5 and over needed, and we're only in the 6th over. Durham were already 10 runs to the good at this stage, and their opening partnership was still intact.
Oh, no, no, no. Plunkett with a very lazy piece of fielding, gifting an extra run.
Over right hand.
22 for 1 from 6.
Well, the shout from Phil Mustard, the wicketkeeper, was run him out. Plunkett tried to execute the fielding with pick up and throw all in one go, but couldn't achieve the right result.
That's outside. That's 1.
Have to hurry here. Oh, direct hit. And Napier would have gone, I think. Essex are desperate to get this run rate ticking over. Would have been really close. Hadn't really got his bat down, I don't think. Don't think he was running it in. Certainly no thought of a dive. Pulled away flat behind square, not quite middled.
Durham have had mixed fortunes in the NatWest Pro 40, but look at them in the LV County Championship. Heavy odds on favourites to retain their title, which they won for the first time last year. 7 wins, 4 more than anybody else.
Makes a mockery of the points situation, I think, when a side can win more than twice as many games as anybody else and still only be 30 points ahead. I mean, really should be far and away uncatchable if you're going to win that many games. Nottinghamshire this week, Durham. It's in the air but safe and away behind point, and will go all the way for 4.
Well, Cook's had to throw caution to the wind here. He's got to get on with things here as the run rate required mounts up. Not a controlled shot, but he's got the boundary he was after.
No 2.
So Essex starting to be a little bit more dynamic now. Cook leading the way, 21 from 25. They need an injection of pace from Napier. That's why he's been sent in at number 3. To try and play a big hitting innings. They need boundaries from his blade. No boundary there. 7 overs gone, 31 for 1.
Delightful innings from Alistair Cook on Thursday evening at Chelmsford against the Hampshire Hawks. Century at better than a runner ball. Most of them authentic, orthodox cricket shots. A lot of that shot away through mid-wicket against spinners or seamers. The Chelmsford faithful royally entertained.
Well, Napier trading in singles almost exclusively. He faced 9 deliveries. Essex will be hoping that Alistair Cook can perform wonders again with the bat. Another 3-figure score would do just nicely. Lovely shot. Don't even bother running for that. Wonderful piece of timing.
And he'll be so relieved that that bat is coming down straight now, Paul. Look at that. Napier, the one having to take evasive action as the ball rockets past the bowler.
Still checking the position of the bat at the top of the back lift, but the raised bat in his stance. If this starts to work for him, and it looks as though it is doing already, there'll come a stage where he doesn't need to look back at the bat. Delicately played. Little dink over a short fine leg. This will run away for 4.
Well, you're always a fielder light, aren't you? With these fielding restrictions, it's very tough for the fielding captain. There we are, the new Alistair Cook. Looking at the bat, premeditated shot. Deftly played.
That's the line to bowl at him. Shake of the head from Cook. Pretty good ball from Gidman. It's just seemed to touch as well. Cook looking to play that into the leg side rather than straight.
Yeah, that was back to the old Cook.
Big shout. Did that pitch in line? Obviously not. Not out. 40 for 1. Forty for 1 from 8. Neil Killeen and Ian Ward now.
Still right arm over. One leg.
Full thanks. Run rate required. Just under 7.5 now for Essex. Durham still attacking with 2 slips. And Plunkett on to bowl. As soon as I said they've got 2 slips, they've taken Gareth Breeze out of second slip and put him at short extra cover. You know this pitch better than most. Would you have 2 slips for Liam Plunkett here?
Yeah, I think I definitely would. I mean, if Liam hits his straps, he'll get the ball generally moving away from the right-hander. And the way the pitch is played so far throughout this contest, it's just offered a little bit of movement sideways. So, yeah, I think I would have 2 slips in here. I mean, Essex Eagles have got to make all the running here, so they've got to play hard at the ball, and there's always going to be a chance of getting a core.
There's another change of field now, and Breeze is the man that's moving once again. Looks like he's going to go into gully. If he does go hard at the ball. Incredibly destructive bats from when he gets going. There's a little bit in it for the bowlers.
Yeah, there is. I mean, if you put the ball in the right area, we've seen all day today that when the ball's full of a length and just outside of off stump, there's been a chance for all of the bowlers. David Masters did it really well first innings, and so far Liam started off well in this over.
He's hit that hard off the back foot. The outfield is very quick. Shouldn't go for 4. Good chase from the fielder. Gidman.
Yeah, good partnership out there on the boundary. Kyle Kurtzer and Will Gidman. Slightly just short of a length by Liam there. Decent line, but just a little bit too short.
You and I were discussing the length to bowl on this surface off mic. It's a lot fuller here at the Riverside, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Sometimes people come here and say that the Riverside offers excessive seam movement. so they come in, they think you've got to bang it in short of a length. But realistically, where the length at Riverside is full of a length, and making batsmen drive as much as you can. You can actually be a lot fuller than what you think.
Pulled away from Cook, hasn't timed it though, he's rather got that off the toe end of the bat. Napier was keen for 2, but Cook not interested. And a shortish delivery from Liam Plunkett. Dangerous tactic, bowling this sort of delivery from Alistair Cook. That's pretty much his bread and butter.
Yeah, Liam's just got to be careful here that he doesn't get dragged into banging it in short against both of these. Just settle back into that line of length.
Chip down the ground, has it carried? No, just short. It was Ian Blackwell who was running in treacle for a while, trying to get to that ball.
Yeah, that was that length that we were just talking about. Almost a half volley sort of length. He's looking to hit him down the ground, but standing on his back foot. So he's always going to have a chance of hitting that ball in the air. A little bit quicker movement by Blackie there, and we might have been in the game.
Fairness, they're very difficult ones to judge. Got to be brave to dive forward, and it's hard to judge how quickly it's coming at you. Down to third man for a single, finishes the 9th over. Essex 46 for 1, needing another 231 to win. You're joining us for the first time. Good afternoon, welcome along. Durham batted first. It was the Eagles that won the toss. 276 for 6. Phil Mustard scoring a very fine 100. Eagles needing 231 more to win. A lot of runs. Goodman to continue from the Lumley end. Showing you the county championship table. We'll run through a few scores in due course. Durham closing in on the title. You can feel the buzz around the club.
Yeah, we can. I mean, it's an exciting time to be at the club at the moment. Things are drawn to a close, and we're in the hot seat at the moment. So.
Spoke to Will Smith about that this morning. It's a great position to be in, isn't it?
It is. It's fantastic. I mean, the guys are in a position that, I mean, they truly deserve. When you see the table, 7 wins is a fantastic achievement. And hopefully we can kick on and take those forward.
Sussex need some points at Old Trafford. Lancashire 236. Sussex 240, but the game is over, so they'll pick up a few. In the air, but just short. Ben Harmison at backward point. At Edgbaston, Warwickshire have trounced Worcestershire by an innings and 18 runs. Chris Wokes, the wickets for 43. Again, Nottinghamshire, Yorkshire. This is a big game for Yorkshire. Yorkshire lead by 142 runs, and they're going extremely well in their second innings. Jacques Rudolph is 146 not out. Division 2, Derbyshire against Kent. The game has been drawn. And hanging on thanks to a century from captain Robert Key, 141 not out. Gloucestershire have beaten Surrey by an innings and 1 run. Leicestershire's game against Glamorgan. At Grace Road, Leicestershire leading by 314 runs. Super shot, full from Gibbon, and Napier has leapt onto that.
Yeah, it was just a full ball. Length wasn't too bad, but he's just given him that little bit of width, which Nebs is looking for, just to get his arms through the ball, and he's managed to pierce the field with that one.
Stride at the ball, strong man. Slightly open face just to find the gap. Oh. Close. Wow, how has that not missed the off stump?
That's the line which at Riverside is very, very difficult to get away. It makes them look to do something which he's not really comfortable doing. For Napes to look to run a ball down to third man isn't really his strength. He wouldn't have said anywhere. And if Giddo can keep it in that sort of line and length, it makes him try and hit it over the top, which is always going to give you a chance.
Run hard is the call from Napier, but it'll only be the one to end the 10th over, 52 for 1. So who in one-day cricket then coming up here, and the ball does nibble around a bit, and you obviously know conditions extremely well. In general, what type of batsman gives you the most trouble?
I think this year the batsmen have been the ones who've been a little bit more unorthodox, the ones who are prepared to come at you. I think the games which I've played this year, I've had my keeper up pretty much non-stop because people have been prepared to run down the track. The track, as you've seen today, is a good track. You can actually get down the pitch.
Not out.
Are you comfortable as a bowler with the keeper up?
Yeah, for me personally, I mean, it's always been a strength of mine to bowl line and length, and I think if you can put it in a good area most of the time, then it's fine to have your keeper up. It brings in a different aspect for me because it pushes them back in the crease, brings in an LBW and even bowls as well.
Shot. My word, he's nailed that through mid-on.
Yeah, it's a fantastic shot again. He's just hit through the line of the ball, straight back down the ground, and not a lot Liam can do with that. Just looking at the ball, it's probably about 6 to 8 inches outside off stump, that ball, and it's gone through mid-on.
Through mid-on like a shell. Whack.
This might be where Will maybe just needs to have a look at the field, set that field really straight and make him look to play across the line of the ball rather than straight through it.
Goes up and over extra cover. Going to be back-to-back boundaries for Essex and Graham Napier. Plunkett all of a sudden is under pressure. The partnership is up to 49 and Essex up to 60.
Yeah, this could be a test in time if it just looks like Graham Napier's going to open his shoulders here and have a look at a few balls. And it might be that we may have to introduce spin inside the first 15 overs and see how we go with that.
Comeback from Plunkett, finding the outside edge. Gareth Breeze has just got one of those awful ones you get in the field where it hits you just on the wrist.
Yeah, it's not really the type of one you want to get up in the northeast either, because it's about -3 normally up here as well. So, and Breezy will make the most of those though as well. So
he's from Jamaica, where it is a good deal warmer. Yeah, right on the wrist. Plunkett has leaked runs in this over. That's the 11th off it. Still a delivery to go.
One left.
You might have played in the game, actually, talking about being cold up here. Surrey versus Durham. I was talking to Bob Willis about it, where it snowed. We started, it snowed, and we had to go off, and it looked like playing. And all of a sudden, the sun came out. Snow disappeared in an instant, and we were back out there playing. It was still perishingly cold. 3 balls into play restarting. Mark Butcher got one on the inside thigh. About -2 degrees. He was absolutely delighted.
yeah, I think that was one of David Boone's early years when Booney was here, and it was the first time his kids were here on the balcony, first time they'd actually seen snow, and they came running down and were trying to make snowmen and stuff on the outfield. I think the ironic thing at that game was that our marketing team had actually put a hot tub on the side of the field as well, and they expected us to go in it at the end of the game, which was quite entertaining.
Cook and Napier have put on 52. Better than a runner ball. So Will Smith has made a change from the Lumley end, and it's going to be Ben Harmison.
Yeah, this is Ben's bowled really well for us this year in one-day cricket, especially 2020, where he used his height to a great advantage, hitting the pitch hard and mixing it up with a lot of slower balls. He tends to be quite difficult to pick up coming from such a high height.
Bowling to Graham Napier. Starts with a wide. That's really harsh. I know that it's down the leg side, but I mean, wow.
Yeah, you'd expect that. Most umpires will give that as a wide now. It seems as if all the advantages go towards the batsman now, Wardy.
It's been the case for a long time. Oh, brilliant, a backward point. Gidman has pulled off a stunner.
Fantastic stop by Will Gidman there at backward point. He's just shown his worth there in the field. They've got him there for a reason, and he's certainly saved 4 runs there.
You breed big fast bowlers up here, and you've got some wonderful fielders at backward point. Paul Collingwood, Gidman there.
Yeah, we seem to find people who can field in that position. You missed the most important one there of Gary Pratt as well.
How could I forget him? He was a good fielder.
Yep. Round the wicket. Cookie.
Yeah, he did like to let you know that as well, Gary did. But
Well, if you're not going to promote yourself, Neil.
true, very true. We're just trying a different tactic here. We're coming round the wicket, Alistair Cook. This is where Ben, I would think, will start mixing it up a little bit. He's had quite a lot of players deceived and caught sort of cover and mid-off throughout the summer.
Very good run. Cook instantly knew that he hadn't timed it to any degree and it was going to just dribble towards mid-on. Despite Cook being on the back foot, spotted the possibility of a single straight away. Just a dead bat. He's run straight down the middle of the pitch. Thomason over the wicket to Napier. And he's got that inside Ian Blackwell, that short fine leg up inside the circle. That will roll away for the 8th 4 of the innings.
Yeah, we just need to be careful we don't let these two get away here. They took quite a few boundaries in the last 2 or 3 overs, and they're just getting a bit of momentum going away between them. And not really playing any big shots either. They've gone with a bit of width and hit the balls which are offline.
Oh, that's where Napier excels, hitting down the ground. He hasn't quite nailed it. And Will Smith, the captain, is very quick. Keeps it to just a couple. Slower ball from Ben Harmison.
Yeah, that was one of those deliveries which I was talking about. He bowls a very good slow ball. Probably a bit of an off break that he's bowled there. And Neps looked like he may have picked that.
Many a mile in the air. Smith was scampering after it. Final delivery of the 12th over. Single ends the 12th, 73 for 1. Essex need 204 to beat the Durham Dynamos, currently 73 for 1. This partnership is going nicely for Essex between Alistair Cook, who's 35 not out, and Graham Napier, who's 30 not out. It's worth 62. And that's just picked out the man. It's Borthwick. We often wonder why they're there, as if they're just sort of hiding a fielder. Have to have one inside the circle. But Borthwick's done well.
Yeah, it was a little bit of fortune there for Liam Plunkett. He's just dropped that one down, and Neps has picked it up, but straight to Scott Borthwick at short fine leg. Like you said, maybe that's why he's there.
With the field that he's got set here, Liam Plunkett, with a gully and a slip, is that encouraging to just hang the ball a little bit too far outside off stump? You made the point about how effective bowling straight here can be.
Yeah, no, definitely, I agree. It's a difficult field for a bowler to bowl to, because he can't really bowl that, hang it out there, because he's got no cover on the offside. His man's out on the leg side, which tends to think he's going to bowl straight.
guess if the ball was swinging a little bit more, that might encourage him to bowl straight and let the ball go away. But these Kookaburra balls don't swing, do they?
No, that's been a thing we've noticed even more this summer with the white ball especially, that it just hasn't swung. It may have gone for the first over, and as soon as they get a slight scuff on the ball, all movement just stops.
Ball speared into the leg side. Napier couldn't get bat on it, just thudded into his big pads. Dangerous line to bowl with the lack of protection that Plunkett has on the leg side to the right-handed Napier. It's a slip and a gully for Napier. It's the same field for Cook, but Chanderpaul is at a very wide, almost 2.5 slips.
Again, he's just dropped that one a little bit short, but Alistair Cook didn't get a hold of that one. He's chinked it a little bit into mid-wicket.
Beautiful shot down the ground from Graham Napier. All the way for 6. That is a majestic strike. 13 overs bowled, 81 for 1. Now, Paul Allett has left the commentary chair. He's found a different one.
Yeah, I've got a much better view as well up here, Ian, and I've got the opportunity to look at that shot, that 6, on this. This is the vantage seat. Here you go, there it is. There's the shot that Graham Napier's playing. It doesn't only just show you live coverage at the moment, it also shows you replays. You can do all sorts of things, the main menu, which should work. Yeah, there we go. And I think we should be able to get drinks and all sorts of stuff. We should be able to get, here we are, club services, food and drink. This is the one, look, you can get alcoholic drinks sent to you. So you can order drinks from your seat, you can go back to the main menu, and hopefully you can then watch the game again. You can watch Sky Sports, you can do virtually anything on this. This is a really good idea. Sitting in your corporate box, sitting in the stand, you can be having a drink, you can be chatting to your mates, and you don't need to miss any of the action because we've got all sorts of replay services as well. This is the game going ahead in front of me now, so that works really well, and it's been receiving rave reviews wherever it's been. I think it was trialled at the Headingley Test match a couple of months ago, went down well there. There are just 6 in place at the moment on the balcony here. But basically, it just gives you the idea of, or the chance to watch the game and to order your drinks, order your food. You don't have to move from your seat. You see all the action. Brilliant idea.
That looks a wonderful idea. Oh dear, a misfield at mid-on, and that's been copped on the end of the finger by Mitchell Claydon. He's not happy. I like those seats. What a good idea.
Yeah, they're fantastic. I had the fortune of meeting the guys earlier on in the season and actually bringing them down to meet the club. It's a local company based down in Darlington who produce them, and it is a fantastic concept. You can do everything up to ordering your taxi home, Wardy, so you may be able to get one to the airport tonight.
Slower ball again from Ben Harmison. Yeah, spot on, Neil. It's what he's trying to do, mix his pace up.
Yeah, he's done that a lot this year, and it's been very, very successful, deceiving batsmen. And we've got Gareth Breeze in there at short extra cover, and that's been an area where he's had a few catches picked up in there, just deceiving the batsmen, getting hands out in front of them and chipping it up into there. We could actually do with picking one of these 2 up at the moment and hopefully putting the foot back down.
Another well-judged single by Alastair Cook. The partnership up to 77, and the run rate at one stage was getting perilously close to 8. But with a few lusty blows from Graham Napier, they've got it down to a far more manageable 7, just over. Game on.
Yeah, just looking at the worms there on the screen, they're pretty close together, and I say it could be an interesting time over the next few overs.
88 for 1. With Alastair Cook 42 not out, and Graham Napier 37 not out. Captain Patini went for 3. Aaron Chopra scored 100 the other day in front of our Sky Sports cameras. And a very impressive one it was too, to take the man of the match award against Hampshire. Maunders, Walker, Foster, Phillips, plenty of batting to come, and this is an excellent platform. 4 bowlers used by Will Smith. No spin just yet. So opportunity with Gareth Breeze and his off spin, and Borthwick with a leg spin. Not hit out of the middle of the bat, but the outfield is so fast. There's another boundary in the 10th of the innings.
Yeah, just hit straight back down the ground again by Alastair Cook. A full ball again by Liam Plunkett. Not too much width. Will Smith's quite wide there at mid-off, so he's sort of covering the wide ball being hit through there, rather than, you know, that wasn't too bad a ball when you looked at it back on the screen there. Maybe we just need to try something different here.
Still the slip in the gully, no catcher in front of the wicket. Close eye on Alastair Cook today with his technical changes he's made in conjunction with coaching staff at Essex, notably Graham Gooch, trying to take his game forward.
It's interesting to see where Liam goes to Graham Napier. He's hit him back over his head a couple of times down the ground. With a man out of deep mid-wicket, I'm just wondering whether he may try a short ball here to Nebs.
He's gone full and drifted into the pads, and that's been clipped with some power by Napier for 4. That's a super shot.
Yeah, just giving him that little bit of room on the leg side there, and with having the man deep out there is a big gap out towards straight mid-wicket, and he certainly exploited that one to the full.
Well, I think Smith and Plunkett need to get their heads together here and just change the field. I don't think that man in gully is now relevant. Would surely benefit more from him being in front of the wicket on the leg side, catching, so he can bowl a little bit straighter. Short to Napier. He's not quite got it. Has he got enough? Yes. 4 and a 6. You were right, Neil. He wanted to have a go at him with a short ball, and Napier has found a way to get it over the boundary.
Yeah, that's, I thought that way it may come this over. It is a strength of Liam's. He does bowl a very good short ball, and sort of fortunately for Graham Napier, he's managed to hit that with the wind, looking at the flags, and he's carried it over the boundary.
Brings the 100 up for Essex. 103 for 1. We thought Durham got off to a great start. They were 111 for 1 at this stage. And that's 4 more. It is also Graham Napier's 50. It is a frustrated, angry Liam Plunkett. Napier to 50 off 35 balls with 6 fours and a couple of 6s. Well, after an indifferent start, losing captain Patini for 3 with a score on 11, Cook and Napier have put the innings back together in some style. Alastair Cook has been the rock, 47 not out from 46 deliveries. Napier all of a sudden has found his range. Drive on the offside, strong down the ground on the onside, and that's trademark. A couple of 6s thrown in there for Graham Napier. All of a sudden Essex are on a roll.
Yeah, it's a testing time for us at the moment. Just looking out there, it looks like Gareth Breeze is going to have a ball, so we're going to change the pace up altogether. Maybe we might see one of the other spinners at this end as well for the next over. But a testing time. We know how powerful Graham Napier is against spin as well, so see how we go.
Going to start round the wicket, though, to the left-handed Alastair Cook. Only 4 inside the circle. Sure, Alastair Cook will be quite happy to do that, take the single, keep the scoreboard ticking, give Graham Napier the strike. How should Napier play it, though, now? Should he just take the single, or, as you say, he likes to dominate the spinners?
I don't think he can. From seeing Napes play in the past, there's no way he's just going to look to knock it around. He's come in, he's got 50 from 35 balls, got the momentum of the innings really moving forward. I think now it's his job just to keep that going. If he scores another 50 really, really quickly, it puts Essex in a really, really strong position now.
Well, he's hitting down the ground with the breeze behind him, Graham Napier, so this is a real challenge for Breeze.
Get it! Yes, Breezy, that's you, Breezy.
How long it is before Napier takes a step out of the trench and looks to go downtown.
Just one out to deep square leg there. It's going to be interesting to see how Gareth Breeze bowls here, because watching the Essex spinners bowl in the first innings, they bowled the ball quite quickly, and our guys were able to knock it round. And when they did throw the ball up, a lot of our guys looked to go down the ground. Whether he's brave enough to do that to these two.
Get it, yes, Breezy. Sit, Breezy.
We'll get a little bit of drift, Gareth Breeze. That's one thing that will work to his advantage. Bit of drift into left-handed Alastair Cook and then some turn away.
Kai, let it go. Keeper, Kai, keeper.
Yeah, so far so good for Gareth Breeze here. He's got the ball in decent areas, and so far there hasn't been a boundary in the over, so hopefully that'll be the idea of bringing the spinners on to curb those boundaries that have been occurring.
Might change now with Napier on strike. So a dot ball ends the 16th over, 110 for 1. Durham made 276 for 6. The Essex Eagles are 110 for 1 and going strongly in the run chase. It's going to be spin from both ends for Durham now. For us, Dave Houghton and Bob Willis.
Thank you, Ian. Well, Ian Blackwell starred with the bat. Let's see what he can do with the ball. Gareth Breeze's first over from the Lumley end went for just 3 runs, so can both spinners put the brakes on here? Run rate a very healthy 6.9. Another half century for Alastair Cook. Really has hit top form since the end of the Ashes series. Slight modification to his back lift and the way that the bat comes down, working wonders for him.
100 in the last game, 50 not out in this one. Opportunity to bat through the innings, try and get his team close as well. And of course, the more runs he gets using these 1 or 2 modifications, the more confidence he'll have in them.
Yes, Black, yeah, nice, Black.
Well, the balance of power has shifted the Essex Eagles' way, and they really do need to dismiss Graham Napier. Strike rate of a massive 133 runs per 100 balls.
Get it, Blackie, go Blackie.
That's very fine bowling by Ian Blackwell. Saw Napier about to approach. Just darted the ball in. Smashed away. Glorious shot from Napier.
I think that's Will Smith who's at extra cover and he's in close saving singles, and I thought I heard the keeper say catch it when this came off the bat. you've got no chance of catching something that's travelling at that pace. Be quite happy with the fact it hasn't come straight at you. It was hit like an absolute tracer bullet. He's in a bit of touches, Napier.
That's wide of the mid-wicket. It's going to bisect the two fielders out on the leg side boundary. Bit of an ungainly heave this time from Napier, but he's a very strong man. Plenty of bottom hand there. Ball whistling to the boundary again. The required rate now under 7 and over.
How?
9 runs off Blackwell's opening over, 119 for 1. Really is an elegant player, Alistair Cook. 6 boundary fours in his 50. That one a little bit risky, but that a beauty straight back down past the bowler. Improvisation as well. Square cut. And another lovely straight drive. I think the straight drives will give him most pleasure at the moment. Sure sign that bat is coming down straighter. That's where he scored his runs. Oh, parried at short mid-wicket. Gidman getting a hand to it. Not hit quite as hard as Napier's offside stroke, but not really considered a chance.
That's the area he likes to sweep, those slog sweeps in front of square. So he played quite a few of those the other evening, on his way to 100.
Both these batsmen, left and right hander, favouring that straight mid-wicket position. Big gap there. So Breeze alters his length.
Go Breezy. Have a look now. Go Breezer. Good shot from you, Breezy.
Off the cue end.
It's interesting for me, Bob, that both captains said they wanted to field. One of them won the toss and put himself in the field. They both thought the wicket would have a little bit, and it looks like it's been a belter.
It certainly has. It's great credit to the ground staff here. They can prepare a pitch like this after all the rain they've had. $18 gone, 22 to go. Essex need 153. Just 3 runs behind the Dynamos after 18 overs. They were 127 for 1. Tremendous opening stand for the Dynamos between Mustard and Blackwell. But this one now taking on monster proportions. 113 from just 87 balls. Will Smith praying for a wicket. Essex Eagles' agenda, pretty obvious. Get at least a single off every ball. If the bowler strays 1 iota, hit him for 4 or 6.
Very different bowling from Ian Blackwell. Prepared to toss it up and try and turn it against Alistair Cook. Really, almost slow left arm seam against Napier. Not prepared to give it any air.
Down. Get off.
Napier's slipped over, so just a single. Napier sees the funny side of it. Wasn't smiling too much when he was being carted around the
Good, Blackie.
riverside when he was bowling.
Yeah. Nick, let it go, Nick. No.
Cook decides he can't get back. Probably the right decision.
Get it, Blackie. That's a lovely ball, Blackie. Over.
Blackwell does well. 4 singles off the over, 128 for 1. Seeing Blackwell, the bowler. Earlier in the day, we saw him batting with some effect for the Dynamos. Equally as strong as Graham Napier. Really firm hits these. Tremendous acquisition for Durham.
Catch it, Costa.
This should be out, and it is this time. Napier looking for the straight mid-wicket boundary, but only found the fielder out there. Carl Kurtzer taking the catch comfortably enough. So wicket for Breeze. The partnership is finally broken.
Well, it's been a really good contribution from Napier, but I had a feeling that taking the pace off the ball might help. It's a long boundary out on the leg side. He was aiming straighter. It manages to pick out Kyle Kurtzer, who's very safe hands, low down. That's the catch. Napier goes for 63. It's 128 for 2.
Former England under-19 captain Varun Chopra has a very, very impressive domestic one-day record. Yes, he's only playing his 32nd match, but look at that for an average. Very acceptable strike rate as well. That best in the win against the Hampshire Hawks, 102.
Oh, Breezy, lovely,
Both
Breezy.
he and Cook scored centuries just 2 days ago.
Nice, Breeze up. Oh, Scotty, bowler. Hit him.
The Dynamos will be hoping to get the required rate up to 7.5 again while Chopra settles in. Better still get him out. That shows the confidence of the young man. Just the 3rd ball faced, and he's prepared to execute the reverse sweep.
It's not a bad choice for him as well. Breeze has got some nice variation. Gives the ball a bit of air and allows it to turn, but he also can bowl the Dusra, the one that goes the other way or straight on. That may have been it. Reverse sweep being a good option, and of course straight down the ground to Madon, an easy way to rotate the strike. Not sure he didn't play that with the back of the bat.
Get it. Got him.
That's halfway for Essex. 20 overs completed, 131 for 2. It's very similar to Durham Dynamo's effort. They were 139 for 2. So this really is a close contest. Napier did a tremendous job. 63 from 49.
Come on, Blackwell. Come on, Dean.
Will Smith has the option of a 3rd spin bowler, young Scott Borthwick's in the side, the leg spinner, just 19 years of age. Of the 4 young England leg spinners, he probably spins the ball more than any of them. Well, it's great to see Blackwell employing a slip.
Good thing he did as well. That would have been 2 or more. And it's good sharp work. Didn't carry, but really well picked up on the half volley. Removal of Napier, Bob, has just allowed Blackwell just to give the ball a little bit more air, take some pace off. He's starting to get a little bit of turn with that. He was firing them in at Napier.
Excellent bowling from Blackwell. And the required rate is back up at 7.5 and over. Just a couple of good overs, and the wicket of Napier once again changed the whole complexion of the match. Full toss, though. Will Smith couldn't hang on at mid-wicket, not surprisingly.
I think Alistair Cook wanted a bit more elevation from this shot. He really was looking for the boundary. It was tossed up high in the air. Nice knee-high full toss, but he's hit it around about chest height.
Just 4 from that over. 135 for 2. Seven and a half runs and over required. Here's Breeze round the wicket to Cook. It's gone aerial this time and a long, long way. 20 metres over the boundary.
Well, something had to give. Lost 3 overs or so, just 11 runs scored and the loss of a wicket. They were going backwards in terms of run rates. Big shots required. Alistair Cook responds. And he got it right out of the middle of that bat. It left the ground and into the car park. Big hit. And the maximum result of 6 runs.
Tremendous battle this on an excellent one-day pitch. A lot of runs to chase. 277 for victory.
Oh, gimme.
Chanderpaul. Great to see some Essex supporters travelling all the way up here. 18 to go, 133 needed. Cook 67, Chopra's on 5. Going to be Blackwell again. He's doing a good job at the Finkel end. Breeze has done well. Economy rate of 5 from the Lumley end.
Still plenty of time for singles at this stage of the innings. Essex won't want to do is lose another wicket or so. We're picking up 4 and 5 singles and over, and the odd boundary here and there, the odd 2. It'll keep you in touch. With wickets in hand, you're prepared to chase down 8 and 9s in the last 10 overs, if necessary.
Very good at changing his pace, Ian Blackwell. Imperceptible to the batsman sometimes. Chopra too early with this shot. That's a better one. We get that down to long on. Can Cook get back? No. That's good work.
Let it go, Costa.
The Essex Eagles are going to have to keep this boundary count going. 14 fours and 3 sixes so far in the innings. But still they need over 7.5 and over.
Yep. Ball black.
We had a look at Alistair Cook on Thursday evening at Chelmsford. This was Varun Chopra's effort. Smashing Dominic Cork for boundaries. Hits the ball very hard for a wiry young man. Really whippy bottom hand. Plenty of wrist in those shots.
Like his awareness as well. Not enough people, right-handers in particular, just use that easy single down to deep mid-on, try and get the man a bit straighter. It creates a bigger gap over mid-wicket for later.
Get it, yeah. Go, Breezy.
He has got the power, as we just saw in that little run-through of how he went a couple of days ago. Just getting himself in, at the same time rotating the strike.
Leave it.
Straight to Blackwell, but they're through for the single. Well, danger signals again for the Eagles. In spite of that towering 6 from Alistair Cook, the required rate is getting perilously close to 8 and over.
Very good, Breezy.
I don't suppose they're aware of it either, but they're not far away, still from where Durham Dynamos were. Just 6 runs behind of where they were at this stage.
Chopra will steal the strike. It's 153 for 2. Alistair Cook's on 71. Aaron Chopra has made 10. In the commentary box now, Ian Ward and Paul Allott.
Thanks, Bob. Got a game on here. The way Essex started, thought they might be just getting a little bit too far behind the run rate, but Cook has played beautifully. So too Napier, brilliant. Napier innings, 63 from 49. And now there's the wristiness of Chopra to add to all that.
Well, these two are quite superb, as Bob Willis was explaining to you the other evening down at Chelmsford against Hampshire. Really, really well measured run chase. I guess if there was one criticism of that impressive run chase, you'd have to say Cook getting out just prior to the job being done would be a slight criticism. I wonder if he'll want to rectify that today and be there at the end.
Well, still a lot of work to do. 8 and over, basically, from here on in for Essex. which is okay on this pitch, which is played an awful lot better than everybody expected it to. Oh, chipped straight back to Blackwell. So Chopra goes for 11. Blackwell will probably say, well, I've trapped him. But it doesn't matter because Chopra's gone.
Well, Blackwell taking that pitch you were talking about, Paul, completely out of the equation. Low full P. Aaron Chopra cannot believe he's nailed it straight back to the bowler. Gone for 11, 155 for 3.
James Foster's the new batsman for Essex, coming out to join Alistair Cook. Cook's on 72. Essex 155 for 3. They still need 122. And that required rate is hovering around 8 and over. Foster's strike rate is good in his domestic one-day career. Best of only 71, but he doesn't get to bat too high up the order too often.
Deliberate move to put Foster in with the bowling that we see on display. Blackwell and Breeze, 2 spinners. Foster will try and keeper it everywhere. Get low down, sweep, run hard. Spoke to him in the mid-innings bit just out the back. He was having some throwdowns. He said he was going to come in at number 6. He's been promoted.
And he's off the mark straight away. Just a little nudge into the leg side. Off the last ball. Good over, though, from Blackwell. 3 singles and a wicket from it. I'm particularly proud of the ball that got the wicket, but it doesn't matter. That's a good catch because it's come back at him at a stinging rate. Low full toss. Good catch.
Talented cricketer, isn't he, Ian Blackwell? Played really well with the bat today. Gave the innings a tremendous start. He's taken a very, very sharp caught and bowled.
So Foster just taking guard against Breeze now. Spin from both ends. Foster will have to manipulate, work the ball around in the field. It's right over to the offside to get himself a single away to backward square.
Fascinating to see the bats that cricketers use these days. You go and pick them up. Normally they're massive.
Blackwell with the dive and the parry, which is admirable, but probably not saved a run.
Well, I picked James Foster's bat up this morning, and it's more an old-fashioned job. It's one I could have used.
A wand, Wardy.
£2.7.
Very loud shout from Mustard behind the stumps, but I don't think that was spinning enough to come back and hit them.
Good, Breezy. That's good bowling, Breezy. You don't mind that, Breezy boy. Keep coming, Dees.
Imperative that these two keep the scoreboard ticking over and at various stages find a way of getting the ball to the boundary. Required rate is 8 and over. And that can very, very quickly become 9, 9.5, and then upwards of 10. So this is good from Foster thus far. 3 off 3 deliveries, so he's rotating the strike, getting Cook, the man who's setting in and with runs to his name on strike. There has to be a boundary at some point.
Well, no boundary in the last 2 overs. Just 9 runs in the last 12 balls and a wicket going down as well. 162 for 3. Essex will say that they've just got to consolidate for a couple of overs after losing Chopra. But, I think Cook will feel that he's still in control. Oh, comparison's pretty close, really. 168 for 2, Durham at the same stage.
Come on, lads. Come on, Blackie
So
boy.
not much in it.
Yeah, shimmy.
horrible throw for Phil Mustard to deal with. Sprawling around in the dust. Chanderpaul should know better, man of his experience.
Wide given. See, I wonder whether Blackwell saw that and then deliberately threw it down the leg side.
Well, I thought if you played the reverse sweep, you'd therefore given away your right to that wide down the leg side. That's just in international cricket, is it? Well, they should have it in domestic, I think. That's unfair.
I agree with you. I think as soon as you either change your hands or look to play as perhaps an opposite-handed batsman would, whether it's right or left, then you forfeit as a batsman the chance to get a wide, unless it's ridiculously wide. Wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't enter the playing regulations for next year, Ian.
That'd be a good move, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. Question for you, Ian. How long do Essex carry on in this vein before they have to go and look to hit boundaries?
Well, not yet. Can't afford to run each other out, but can just afford to keep ticking the scoreboard over for a period of time. Then a boundary might come. If it doesn't come in the next over or so, then you've got to go searching for one.
Nice controlled shot from Cook. It's only a single, though. 13 overs left, 168 for 3. Required rate creeping up towards 8.5. Not a whole heap of batsmen left down there. Maunders, Walker, well, Walker, of course, I would have thought would come in before Maunders, Phillips, Westfield, Masters, Canaria. Walker's the man, key man to my way of thinking.
Yeah, I think just going back to your question about finding boundaries, it was important that Foster sort of got himself up and running, and he's done that very well. He's only faced 5 deliveries, I know, but 5 runs. Should be leg byes, and Cook has continued his way. I think in due course, given his runs, so a bit of glove perhaps. I think in due course it'll be Foster that will be seeking boundaries if needed and when required, and just allow Alistair Cook to keep going.
In the air but wide of backward point and 4. Nicely played by Foster, got it square enough to evade the fielder.
We saw Matthew Pryor yesterday dismissed playing the reverse sweep off Nathan Horrocks. On this occasion, Foster managed to get it up and over that man, whereas Pryor picked him out. It's a very, very effective shot. Very hard to bowl at, very hard to captain against. There's a few teapots out there, so what do we do now then?
Problem here because the ball has disappeared under the covers.
Not helpful. Thank you for your efforts, but that was not helpful. Oh, now what he got? Liam Plunkett climbing over walls.
The other hand, the mysterious hand here. The magician's hand creeping out from under the board. It's not. Oh, he's got it, but it won't. He can't get it through.
Teamwork.
Oh. Initiative used by everybody. Crowd, bowler,
Spectator.
Brilliant.
Well, I did it like that. It was obvious. You just go down, pick it up, someone leans over.
They'll all be inducted into the magic circle.
might have struggled to have helped in that occasion. Liam Plunkett's a bit taller than me. Might have had height issues reaching down.
Yeah, we'll not go there, Ian. Just suffice to say the game's got underway again.
Foster found the boundary that you were after, Paul. 3 singles and that dot. What can he come up with the last ball?
Just a nudge for 1. Ooh, nudge for 2. Know your fielders in Blackwell on the edge. 177 for 3. Dead on 100 needed by Essex Eagles to win this match. They've only got 12 overs to get them.
Come on, Scotty.
I think we're in for a fascinating finish here. This could go either way.
This is good too. Here comes Scott Borthwick. The Danish Canaria did not perform well today for Essex with his leg breaks and googlies. Now will 19-year-old Scott Borthwick go?
So here's Borthwick. Challenge for him. One of the new breed of leg spinners that's entered county cricket.
If you were Foster here, would you instantly try and knock him off his line?
You would, wouldn't you? It doesn't matter who you are, Cook and Foster, both experienced batsmen against the 19-year-old leg spinner. Try and disrupt him early on in this over, make him worry about how he can bowl and what he can bowl. Don't want to bowl too many of those, because that's a half tracker that's been lampooned into the car park.
Ball got stuck in his hand. Just a big drag down. Foster has deliberately hit it up with the breeze. That's going for 6. As Shane Warne said in his little masterclass at the Oval, when you're a young leg spinner, you're going to bowl a bad delivery. It is a difficult art to master.
Very good comeback from Borthwick. Tossed up outside off stump. Even though he's only 19, he bowled enough leg spin to know that the odd one gets stuck in his hand from time to time. It doesn't matter whether he's playing in this first team for Durham or schoolboy cricket or wherever, club cricket. It'll happen.
Let it go, Carl. Let go, Scott.
Going to be 2 there.
Hold, Scotty.
Keep your eye on Foster here. He's off.
Let it go, Carl.
Touch and go. And he's comfortably made it. He did it easily because the first run was run with such intensity.
Going for 2. Couple of tumble turns there. It's good running. Put Plunkett under pressure.
Over.
190 for 3. 13 off Borthwick's first over. Wasn't such a bad over apart from the ball that went for 6. Just got stuck in the hand. But plenty of bowlers used by Durham. So Will Smith has got heaps of options there. He doesn't have to bowl Borthwick.
Who's his banker, though? Who will he look down there and think, right?
Well, I think Claydon should be one of his bankers. Plunkett, those figures suggest not, but I'm looking for Plunkett to come forward and bowl. And be the man who puts his hand up and says, yeah, I've got to do it. Breeze and Blackwell, the 2 spinners, nearly finished, of course. 3 overs left between them. I think Smith would expect a contribution from Claydon and Plunkett looking at that.
I just turned around to Neil Colleen and said, who will he trust now? He said, well, Claydon or Harmison. Look who's appearing at the Lumley end of the ground.
Round the wicket.
Round the wicket, Harmison. Too short and pulled away comfortably. And more than comfortably, all the way for 6.
This partnership has really thrust Essex back into this run chase. 41 off just 26 deliveries between Cook and Foster. Cook up to 91 with his second 6.
Well, I asked you the question, Ian, didn't I? How long will it take Essex to get into their stride? This is the perfect partnership in the middle order. Foster 21 from 12. Cook 91 from 88. They were quiet but busy at the start of the partnership. Now they're going at getting on for 2 a ball. Good comeback from Harmison. The slower ball, flighty slower ball, but it was right in the block hole as well, and straight.
Scott Borthwick has bowled 1 over, which went for 13. He's fielding out on the boundary at long off to Ben Harmison. Bit of time just to mooch over those first 6 deliveries and what he might do differently. He's bowling at markedly different batsmen, and not just because they're a left-right-hand combination. Foster will reverse sweep and be very busy. Cook looking at work the ball with the spin into the leg side for 1. So time for contemplation for the bowler to think how he's going to go and bowl the next over. Is that applicable to the seamers? You know, you used to hang around at third man and fine leg and graze.
Yeah, we were grazing. Well,
But thinking about the next over.
Of course you do, yeah, of course you do. Especially when you're a young lad like that, just trying to make his way in the first team, not played many games. He looks a bit of a live wire to me, though, and a confident soul, so hopefully he won't be brooding and worrying too much. But he'll be thinking through a plan. He'll be hoping that he gets another over first up, I think. I hope he is. I hope he's not thinking, oh, I hope I don't really want to bowl. I hope he's thinking, give me another chance. I want to bowl another over.
Doesn't strike me as that type of character, to be honest.
Shot. This could be 4. It is 4. Lovely wristy stroke. Don't bowl short and wide to keepers in general, and certainly not to Foster. Threw in the over. 11 from it.
200 comes up with that boundary from Foster. A very wristy shot backward of point. This run chase has really fluctuated. Got off to a poor start when Patini was out with a score on 11. Good partnership between Cook and Napier. Dismissal of Napier and then Varun Chopra, and all of a sudden the run rate was rising, and we were wondering how Essex were going to keep control of the run rate and keep it below 9 and 10. Well, thanks to this perky little innings of 25 from just 13 from James Foster, Essex are back in reasonable amount of control of this run chase.
Well, Borthwick's on. Oh, this is good running. Excellent running. Pretty good shot as well from Cook, because he placed that. Didn't try and hit it too hard. Just a little push. And look at Foster.
Oh, close. Yes, Barry Donaldson wants to have a look. Foster was off down the pitch looking to pinch the single, just as he did the ball before, where his aggressive running meant that Essex came back for two, but this might be tight.
Foster thinks he's got back. This is great work from Mustard. It's half a step, 2 steps maybe, from Cook that have led Foster up the garden path. Did he get back? Yes. Yeah, well in. But good work nonetheless from Mustard, and quick reactions from Foster to turn and get his back in his ground.
Turned quickly, didn't he? He really did turn quickly to get back and make his ground.
Catch it. Ball, Scotty.
Full toss, but not dispatched for anything other than a single. Now, Borthwick has to finish this over well. 1 ball left, just gone for 5 so far. Outside the line of off stump at the point of contact. Leg by will be signalled. That's a much better over from Borthwick. Good stuff from him. Essex 207 for 3.
Thought for a moment that Barry Donaldson was going to give this out, because he went to put a coin from one pocket to the other, but I do hope he wasn't considering it, because even I could have given that out and I would have made the worst umpire in the world.
Yeah, way wide of off stump. I'd have been a dreadful umpire as well. All I'd have done was appeal, I think.
You might have been the only umpire that ever sledged anybody.
Yeah, could have done that. Could have done a bit of that, yeah. In equal measure, both bowler and batsman, though.
Absolutely. Mind you, once heard Trevor Jesty sledge Martin Bicknell when he appealed for something like that that was quite obviously ridiculously not out, which was most amusing. Fortunately, I can't verbatim say what he said. We'll leave it at that.
Well, we've heard gunner Ian Gould on the stump might say to various bowlers when they keep appealing and whining and whinging, it's like umpiring my 12-year-old daughter.
That was Cork, wasn't it? I think it was a 20-20 at Headingley.
Or bowled.
Brings Alistair Cook onto strike, and he's 96 not out. Had exactly a run a ball. Couple of 6s and 6 boundary 4s. He's done with his technique, whatever the reasons behind it. he was explaining to us during the interval. At the moment, they're working.
And the fact that he's scoring runs as well will boost his confidence. It's got to. Slight change to your technique and you go out immediately and score big runs. 100 last week and prospect of another one now. Even though they might only be small changes to the way he approaches his batting, has a huge effect on him. Could be out. No, it's going to be short. Claydon long on.
Just almost trying to hook that ball away from long on over mid-wicket to the boundary. Gets his head outside the line of off stump. Looking to go square of the man at long on.
Another cry of catch. Oh, Borthwick has taken a huge diver. That's a really brave effort. The hardest ever catches when hit flat at you in the deep and you have to run in and dive forward.
Where has this hit him? God, this had in the face, nose, teeth, all over it. Oh, he's done well, get his head out the way, just took it for the boys on the arm. As you say, they're the brave catches, aren't they?
Flashed away over backward point, down to third man. Good stop. Blackwell diving away to his right. It's a good over from Harmison. It's 214 for 3. Just 8 overs to go then. 214 for 3. Essex at this stage. Durham were 205 for 3. We've got a finish on our hands here. And to take you up to the close, Neil Colleen and Davy Houghton.
Thanks, Walt. Scotty Borthwick in for his third over. On the ground for a single. Killer, what are you saying to your bowlers at this stage?
I think at this stage, Will's just going to be saying to the guys, look, we're still in this game. They've got to do all the running. We've just got to do the basics right at this point.
He's gone for the big hit. There's Cook. He's just going to pick up a single. It's a long boundary out on that leg side.
Yeah, it is. I mean, young Scott's got to be a little bit brave here, give the ball a chance and back himself to get it in the right area and hope that they pick the fielders out in the deep.
What I've seen of him is he's certainly not afraid of a fight. And you could just see in that last over them diving in, trying to take that catch. He's got the right bottle for this, right temperament for these sort of games.
Yeah, he's certainly not one who's going to shy away from anything out there at the moment. He'll want the ball in his hand, he'll want to be the one bowling, he'll want to be the one fielding. And if he can be the one running them out, he'll want to be that man as well.
So much to be gained for a youngster playing in a game like this, a big game like this. He's got the ball in his hand, his ability. If things go slightly wrong and Durham lose, no one's got a problem with it. But if he wins it, oh, how much will he have learnt out of that?
Catch it!
Down the ground from Cook. Will it carry him off? It doesn't. It's just a single, and he goes to 99.
No, he's the type of guy that'll step up to the plate, and if it doesn't work, well, I mean, it's a learning process for him as well. But I mean, at the moment, he's putting the ball where he needs to, and hopefully something happens for him in the next few balls.
I suppose when you're working with young players as well, these are exactly the type of mentality that you want. People who want the ball in their hands in these situations. 44 balls, 59 runs to win for Essex.
It's well bowled again. Sneaked a single out there to show a backward point, but I mean, like you say, you need to know what this guy's character's like when you're playing in situations like this, and unless you play in these situations, you never find that out. You can sort of simulate things, but you never know what it's like out there in the middle.
Cook stuck on 99. Good over that from Scotty Borthwick. Just 5 singles off it. Gets a warm round of applause. 219 for 3. 7 overs to go. It's been a good game. There's been a number of good games on Sky here over the last couple of weeks. This one's got a good finish written all over it as well. Dynamo's got 276 for 6. Mustard's 100. And some bullying from Blackwell up at the top of the order with 59. A little knock from Harmison as well. Cook matching that, 99 not out. Napier did the bullying this time. He got 63 and 49 balls. And Foster going well as well. Good finish in prospect here. 58 required from 42 deliveries and wickets in hand.
Yeah, we just have to hope that the Durham guys here can put the ball in the right areas and back those skills, which for one-day cricket now, you've got to have all the skills in your bag, not just sort of game A and game B. You need C and D to go with it as well.
Great shot from Foster. Great shot from Foster. Another boundary for him. He goes to 39 off just 24 balls. Heard some people say he can't bat.
Well, he certainly looks like he can bat out there at the moment. I mean, I'm not quite sure what the bowler's plan is here, but we need to make sure that we get these skills right. Mix it up. I mean, he bowls a very good slow ball, Ben Harmison, and for now, I think maybe it's time to go into the block hole.
Yeah, that looked like it was a slow delivery, speed of just 67 miles per hour. Foster was advancing down the wicket and got it perfectly in the slot. And I think Mustard will probably respond by coming up to the wicket. Just small delay while he waits for his head guard, his helmet.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle of the keepers here. Hopefully Phil can come up with something which is going to combat against what James Foster's doing out there at the moment, which he's just sort of taking this game into Essex hands at the moment.
Standard field, fine leg up inside the circle and it backwards square on the leg side. Standard at this time of the innings. Gone for the reverse sweep, big shout.
That must have been quite close, I think. That it's risky, very risky shot, especially when you've got a third man down there as well.
I would have thought the other way. The normal sweep might have been a preferable shot here with the fine leg up. He went reverse and it may be just the height. Is it just outside line? It's tight, whichever way you look at it. Bailey gives the batsman the benefit. I think it may have been a little bounce there.
It's a strange shot. I can't quite work out why he's gone for that shot there, but at the most he's going to get one unless he gets it really, really fine. And I mean, very high risk shot.
Right, Cook still on 99 for 100 balls. Been a tremendous innings. Great fielding from Will Smith. Well, will they be able to... can't pierce the covers. A bad shot, good position as well, but good work from Will Smith.
It's one of those periods where sometimes the bowling side can actually just let a few balls tick away whilst he's focusing on his 100 here, and I mean, those balls could be important.
Get it!
There it is. Second 100 in a row for Alistair Cook. They're looking for 2. They're not going to get it. But it's another fantastic 100 from Alistair Cook. We're just reinforcing the little changes he's made. And nothing does it better than runs on the board.
No, he certainly played very well again, just following up this 100 the other day against Hampshire. And he's certainly looks like he's got things moving well for himself.
I think the thing is when you do make slight adjustments or changes to your game, really, it's a psychological thing to get over him. Is it going to work? And the best way to find out and give yourself the confidence that it works is actually to go out there and score runs with it, or as a bowler to go out and take wickets with it. And if you make a little change to your batting technique and you go out and score a 0 and a 4, straight away you're thinking, I don't think this is a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big risk to do a change in progress, especially during the season. I mean, luckily for him, he's got to the end of the Ashes series, which is he's been allowed to do that.
Worked away by Foster behind square, and good running as well. Just parried away, which allows him to get the second run. I was just saying, though, you know, just talking about Cook and the changes he's made. For most county cricketers, they do have a winter period that they can make changes. For international cricketers, English cricketers, they play 12 months of the year, so there's no real time for running repairs other than while you're playing.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes how some players do end up getting a little bit stale as well, because they haven't got the get up to actually make those changes in season.
Good shot from Foster, great piece of improvisation, and really finishes this over well for Essex. It's another boundary, 34 overs have gone, it's 231 for 3. We just talked about how well Alistair Cook has played and the fact that he has made 1 or 2 changes, but when you see a shot like that, you can see the changes have been well worth it. He's still got all the skills and all the knowledge of how to score runs. He seems to be playing much better down the ground, much nicer balance and better path of the bat to the ball. But as I said before, he still has all the ability and all the knowledge of how to put an innings together. And it's resulted in the second 100 in a row. I think the 13 straight down the ground and the 9, that's what will impress him the most.
Yeah, it's been a great innings from Alistair Cook, and I'm sure he'll want to be there at the end if Essex are going to get home in this run chase. These overs from Scott Borthwick are very important here.
Good sweep square of the wicket. Again, a long boundary out there, but just a single taken.
Yeah, I think one of these two is going to probably have to take a couple of risks off young Scott here, and it's going to be interesting to see whether they get away with it or whether Scott comes out on top.
Well, Foster's on strike here, 45 off just 27 deliveries, and we've talked about a lot of the batting today. Don't underestimate the contribution right here from James Foster. We know all about his keeping, one of the best in the country, if not the world. Had a good contribution with the willow today, and out comes the reverse sweep of Borthwick. He'll run hard here and get 2 as well.
Just watching James Foster play in the innings here, and actually in the past, he seems to be very well organised, knows exactly the areas that he's looking to score in. I'm sure in his plan here, he's looking sort of 2 and 3 balls ahead as to where he's trying to manipulate the field.
Yeah, and doing a good job of it as well. It's one thing knowing what you want to do, but it's been able to execute. And he's doing that pretty well at the moment. 4 boundaries, 4s and a 6 to his credit so far. Will just be a single, using his feet as well. You see quite often players against spinners, they have one or other, they either sweep or they use their feet. He's got the full range against spinners, not unhappy to come down the wicket, also has both-sided sweeps. So he's got good response against spin.
Get it, Scotty, yes, Scotty.
Very well bowled by young Scott there again, got it right up in the block hole. Very difficult for them to work away, but it's one of these two is going to have to take this big risk here, I think, and look for the boundary.
This could be tight. I've got a feeling it may have gone to the wrong end. Rob Bailey's going to have a look. I've got a feeling if it had been gone to the wall, the ball had been thrown to the bowler's end, it would have been a closer opportunity.
Yeah, I think the direct hit might have been close, but I think because he's had to, it's going to be pretty safe.
That was Alistair Cook running to the non-striker's end. He was always going to be safe. The ball went the other end. Alistair Cook using his feet, hit the ball and actually ran on the strength of his shot. Great work again from Will Smith. It's going to be close. It's a difficult line from which to see this ball. Foster running quite wide as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he's just sliding his bat, and he slid his bat wide and not straight into the crease.
Have a look at it upstairs. And the result's not out.
It must have been very close, that one, I think, and a direct hit would have certainly been gone.
Once again, Will Smith brilliant in the field. The 35 overs gone, 236 for 3, 30 balls for Essex to get 41. Mitch Clayton back into the attack. Replacing Ben Harmison at the Lumley end.
It's interesting to see where Mitch goes with this. He has bowled at the death pretty much all summer, and he's got two options. I mean, he's a big, tall, strong guy and can get it up around about head height as well, or whether he goes block hole.
Well, his first up choice was the block hole, and I think that's the right choice. I'm interested in your thought regarding field placing those. If you got your quicks like this running up and bowling block hole, is it not better to have both third man and fine leg back? And, you know, if a batsman's skilled enough to get it over mid-off with the full face of the bat.
I think for somebody like Mitch, who's got a lot of pace, then yeah, you can do that. You can have mid-off, mid-on up and make him go. I think the reason why I'd personally bring them up is because of the pace and going over the top.
Oh, it's a really good shot from Foster. He's hit it like an absolute bullet. He goes to 50. It really was struck firmly. It was only a couple of yards to the right of the boundary fielder.
I think that was a slow ball from Mitch Clayton there as well. He's just dragged it down a little bit wider, and given James Foster the chance to get his arms free. The field we were just talking about before that was, if you're going to mix it up with slow balls, then you do probably need one of your long off, long on back there, or both of them. But you've got to know exactly where you're going to land that.
They're pushing hard, but it looks like it'll just be a single. Harmison doing the work. I suppose that's the bottom line of everything. Your execution's got to be right. You can have whatever field you want, but if you don't bowl the ball in the right place, it's not going to work.
I think it's execution and a thought process now. I mean, even sometimes if you get the ball exactly where you want, it still goes for runs. I think you've got to be a step ahead and try and predict what that batsman's trying to do.
Big heave from Alistair Cook. Is he going to get two? No, just a single again. They're scoring off every delivery, and of course with the boundary thrown in, it's a good over once again for the Eagles. 7 of 4 deliveries in this over so far.
Yeah, these are important 2 deliveries here. Mitch Clayton's just got to hold this over together, try and restrict the boundary. If we can keep this down to 9, well then it isn't too bad. But we've really got to restrict the boundaries at this stage.
He's got the third man up in a circle, 2 men up, saving 1 behind square on the offside. And you can see what Foster's trying to do, giving himself a bit of room and trying to slice the ball up and over those 2 close fielders on the offside. Risky, but worth the risk.
It's certainly risky, especially when he's gone length as well. I mean, to go length with third man up, the ball can pretty much go 360. And if he's going to have that third man up, it's even still as risky to go block hole, because that can squirt down there as well.
It was just going to be a leg by, so he dragged the over back, did Mitch Clayton, but 8 runs off it for Essex. And it's been the contribution of James Foster for me that has really pushed Essex a little closer here. Came straight in and was prepared to play his shots. A little long hop from Scotty Borthwick, probably the worst ball he bowled today. He's bowled pretty well other than that. But, Foster continued on his merry way, shots over extra cover, lots of improvisation with his sweeps and reverse sweeps. And that was the slap that brought him his 50. He really did nail that. 33 balls, strike rate of 160. 5 boundaries and a 6. Really has been a tremendous effort from Foster. Partnership of 89 between these two in 68 balls.
Yeah, we've been a lot of talk about James Foster and his wicket-keeping skills, but I think today we've just seen him showcase his batting skills and his versatility in that.
Now, has this gone all the way? It has. Beautifully picked up by Foster. Gave himself a little bit of room, walked outside the off stump, played the slog sweep, played it to perfection.
Yeah, it was a very, very good shot and a very well planned shot as well. He's targeted the first ball of the over, which puts the two batters in the ascendancy for the rest of the over. Now young Scott's thinking, how do I pull this back? Hopefully he stands up to it. I'm sure he will. But it's a very tough situation to be in.
It is tough, but credit to the batsman. Foster has been outstanding here in this little knock. Nothing wrong with the delivery from Borthwick, just really good batting. Pretty good response, and he may get a wicket with it. He hasn't. Foster got just enough of it, and a second 6 in a row.
It's a tough time for young Scott here. He's coming up against a very good exponent of playing spin here, and he's targeting his strengths. Short boundary, hitting with the wind.
Now that could be out as well. No, he's got just enough. He's teasing Liam Plunkett out in that square leg boundary. That was a poor delivery, dragged that one down. Foster, 3 in a row.
This is where he needs somebody to stand up and talk to him. Breezy's gone straight up to him, which is great to see. A bit of experience, just talk to him, tell him to take a breath, just relax and bowl.
Might like to bowl the other end with the longer square leg boundary. He might have had 2 catches there.
Yeah, he probably would, yeah. I mean, that is a long boundary. He's actually hitting with the wind, the right-hander here as well.
This time, surely, Foster once again has just eased it over the boundary, so that's 4 in a row. Boy, this really is a defining over for the Eagles. Well, it's only just eased its way over the boundary, but the placement was perfect. Had it not gone over, it would have been a 4. He picked his spot between fielders. This time, just over again. He's not wasting any energy, Foster. This one went over by about a yard. It's 5 in a row.
Well, this is an exhibition, to be fair, from James Foster here, and I mean, I really feel for young Scott out there at the moment. It's a tough situation to be in, and I mean, hopefully he's going to come back from this and be a very big learning experience.
Certainly has been a tough experience for him to get through here. Foster, 83 off just 38 balls, strike rate 218. What an innings. Well, it's going to be 4 byes. It may even be 4 wides. It was fired down the leg side. Let's see what Barry Duddleston's going to give. Yes, it's a wide.
That's a win for the Essex Eagles, and I mean, that over's just completely changed the face of the game.
Well, it's unlucky that's come off Borthwick as a youngster learning his game, but as you say, it's a real learning experience. What a knock from Alistair Cook, batted through the innings. He's got a second 100 in a row. James Foster, 38 balls for 83, 5 sixes in a row in this over. And the Eagles go to what in the end looks a convincing win. 1 by 7 wickets with 3 overs and 1 ball to spare.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic achievement that James Foster's just played in that over, and I mean, you've got to admire him for he went after the first ball, set the tone for the over, and young Scott didn't really do a lot wrong.
He didn't. He kept his nerve. He bowled 1 bad ball in that over. He bowled 1 that he dragged down, but the rest were all perfectly well bowled, and it was really just some really good batsmanship from James Foster.
Yeah, you can see the lads there just consoling young Scott, and the applause of the crowd. James Foster and Alistair Cook certainly deserve that. 2 fantastic innings to take the game for the Essex Eagles.
Now this has been a fantastic game for the batsmen, and basically on a wicket that both captains felt they wanted to bowl first. There might be a bit in it. Well, there we go. That was the Essex response. Patini got out early. Cook was outstanding again, second 100 in a row for him. Great contribution from Napier, 63 of 49. James Foster, 83 of 38 deliveries.